I'll move this off of the table.
Our topics are optics.
Yes.
So
Brett hates optics because he says they don't
No,
work.
I think they look cool as well.
Can I please borrow one of those a minute to try my Delta?
Which one?
yeah, by all means.
That one, yeah, that looks very snazzy.
New instantly.
I forget the.
It is stamped on the side there. You can just about see it. Vision, is it?
Sick.
Jism.
I've got the.
With the little.
I've got the tan one on top of my black and tan MTW bit.
See, that look good on my Noveski.
That's what I'm going to put on my wall when I order it.
Oh, yeah.
No, both do it.
Alright, okay. What are you going for?
You both wear cowboy hats, both have those on the vests.
Yeah, so the topic of today's discussion is optics.
Fuck's sake, that looks good, sorry.
Mate.
It does look pretty sick actually, doesn't it? It looks
Send it
proper,
to him, because then it goes to the EBR.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's a little bit too big for it.
Nah.
Just
Not at all.
it looks sick.
Viewers,
yes.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, you're
mate,
right. I've got
yeah.
a poll up on Instagram.
That is actually making me wonder whether I should buy the tan.
416, just to put that on.
The tan Noveski and put that on top of it.
It does look quite good. And what's that? Is that like just a reflex sight on the top?
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you press that.
What?
Well, it should be. Press the button on the side.
It's rusted.
I told you.
There you go.
It is.
Not.
Everything's got
Drops down,
patina.
Press the button and it comes up. And that should be like a red dot sight. I don't know if it's still at the back.
No batteries in it at the minute.
That's cool, man. I like that.
It's
Should we just go through and put different ones on?
That does.
Yeah, do you wanna do
yeah,
it?
yeah.
That's
try
actually a
them
really
all.
good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Cool, so we've done the, what's that ball? Which one?
The jism.
So look, some of the what we're trying to ascertain in today's topic is A, what looks cool, what doesn't look cool, but also can you tell the difference between what's real and fake?
Right, so I'm at an unfair advantage because you guys told me straight away. So Josh, what is the difference between these two UH? No, it's not difference, is it? What is the fake UH1?
Which is the real UH1, which is and the magnifiers are real and fake as well. So which are the real
No
ones?
specific order.
I'm going to say that
Would you like to switch them on and see?
Yeah, you can look.
Yeah,
at
that's a really good
they're
idea.
mixed up, I believe. They look like they've been mixed. Because I feel
Turn
like
these on and have a look at the reticles and see what you think.
And-
Turn this up so you can actually see it. Okay.
For the listeners at home, that silence was Josh looking through the reticles and us all holding our breath in anticipation.
it's this is true to like word. I didn't know anything about this.
No,
so I don't
this is
know.
all new.
I'm going to say that that one is an original. There. That's a copy. That one.
What are your reasons?
Because externally, I'm looking at the writing on this one. Looks like it's been, it just looks a bit more, that looks a bit more like it's been properly put on there. This is starting to flicker a little bit. No, yeah. And then the optic wise, that one's definitely more clearer and more brighter, I think, than this one. And plus you've used this obviously a lot more than that one. So
We're basing it off of how willing I am to take it out.
and it's a
in the field.
similar situation with these. I think that one's probably the original because of the writing similar to that. So obviously these came as a pair. By the looks of it, possibly. The Vortex logos are really good, aren't they? There's really good copies.
They are incredible copies. I was hugely impressed with.
I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to go for these as the original and those are the clones.
You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. For the listener,
like a knobhead.
for the listener who isn't tuning into
I'm gonna put
the
them on
video, they are the differences between the UH1 clone and the original are that the sort of finish that we talked about. The original has a much more
It's a more satin finish to it.
yeah than the clone, and the text. Josh was talking about the text.
Yeah.
Is actually finished slightly different as well.
It's more of a matte finish,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this one here, I don't know if they.
It's not gloss.
It's not
but
gloss, but
it's certainly a lot.
It looks like
brighter.
it's been put on by a Chinese guy in a factory. Like this looks
Which
like
it absolutely has.
There are other Asians available.
Yeah, the optic, what was it? This one that's on now. That's the original. That's the original.
That's
Yeah, the optic is so much brighter and it's so much clearer.
Not to say that on the clone the optic is bad.
No, it's
I
not
was
bad.
actually really impressed
The
with how.
actual, the reticule on the clone looks cleaner than on the real one. It's because obviously one's
That's
hologram
what
and the other is a laser.
Like a laser
Yeah.
thing, yeah. And the price difference is quite substantial. So for the UH1 on its own is nearly 500 English pounds, whereas I got the clone UH1 with a magnifier for 100.
That is crazy.
And you can almost not tell if you took the clones to the field without a real one next to you, I would argue you wouldn't be able to tell the
No,
difference.
I mean, obviously, I'm not like a new player. I've been doing it for a long time, so I kind of like seen the fakes and not. But to someone like, I don't know, matey that's joined up in the chat that doesn't shut up, we know the one.
Yeah.
But like someone like him, you would never tell the difference, and he would probably definitely go for the £100 one because he can. Who's going to walk up to him and go, "That's fake"? He could quite easily.
I think this is raises the argument, like you said, obviously that scopes don't really work well on airsoft rifles. So why would you need to spend 500 quid when you can go to AliExpress to have the same design to make your rifle look obviously real and have that effect?
Yeah, and I mean,
Try that one on it.
they do both do the same thing.
That's my Leopold hammer.
Funny thing though, obviously I've got a clone UH1.
Yeah.
I put that on my MTW when I first did the build on it, put pictures up, tagged Vortex in it, and the guy who runs their social media did not realise that it was a fake.
Oh my god!
When I saw him at the shooting show, and he was like, "I didn't realise you had one of those," and I was like, "Dude, it's a fake." And he went, "Really?" So I showed him the picture again, and he's like, "At that distance in that picture, you just cannot tell."
Captain Vortex.
Yeah. So
That's how good those
Yeah.
clones are. Obviously, as soon as you get them in front of you, you can tell straight away. But
Yeah.
like you said, at this distance, someone glancing at it is not going to
he's
know.
not going to know.
But again, does it matter?
Oh my god, that's sexist. That.
So this is my Leopold hammer.
Oh my God.
And yes, that is also a clone. And that retailed also for £100. And it's clear as day.
It's
100,
really clear,
It's
man.
clear as
100,
day.
that's now £200 towards the EBR.
Can I try something for the viewers? Because I have done it before.
What though?
I'm not going to get my dick out. Would you hold that for me, sir?
The disappointment is real.
I'm going to walk up to the camera and see if I can get the vision down the scope of it.
Okay.
Apologies
Well,
for-
see if it'll.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
If you can see anything,
Just do your eye relief, just step back a bit.
Yeah, that's it. Step back from your screen.
Yeah.
Hey!
I'd do it be like this.
Dialing his eyes in.
But yeah, so
oh my god, I'm not going to say it.
like I
Darling,
said,
it's just like that, one side, like. Sorry, RJ, love
We
you.
love you, RJ.
Middle ground.
yeah, so it's what are you sticking on?
That is
now?
fucking overkill and I love it. It's not on the rail, guy.
Is it not? Oh, no,
It's so far off the rail.
I thought it was on.
Are you alright there?
No,
No, he's lost it. He doesn't know how to do it. It's got quick release buttons on the side.
I'm upside. Well, they're not fucking quick release. Even Josh is struggling.
No, Josh has mastered it. Look
There
at
we
that.
Worked it out in seconds.
So yeah, you put it on.
Oh,
No, that's all good. Don't scratch.
he's nervous now. He's going to look silly on the camera. Other way around it.
I was testing.
Do it. Let's let him do it. He's fine.
We've had plenty of those in the chat. That is not undoable, actually.
That's sexual.
That is not undoable.
Oh.
So that is a Amazon special brand of Fuck You Hunter. I don't actually know how to say it without sounding like Fuck You Hunter. And that is actually a £70 scope off of Amazon.
What's the eye relief like on
But actually,
it? You just caught that one.
Oh yeah. There you go.
I don't think the eye relief for £70 is that bad.
Paul, please can I borrow this for next Saturday?
Yeah, if you want it.
Yeah.
Is it a clone?
Is it for sale?
Is it for sale?
EDR.
It's not for sale.
No EDR.
I do like it. I do like it.
Well, can I
But
use
you
it?
think
You can use
Can I use it next Saturday? So
Yeah.
my gun looks just
That-
as fuck.
That is in the
just
way.
in the bottom of it.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
the roof isn't bad.
No, for £70.
Even back here,
What is that?
which actually,
That bullet.
Oh, that's my pen.
Because
a
I
pen.
know this is really that is cool as fuck. It's really nerdy.
I'm actually really surprised by that.
I'm gonna go with, just as a personal preference from seeing these now, I really like these two. Now,
And they are both. Well, that's a clone. The hammer is a clone because that's a. I don't know. I think they're about over £1,000 if they're real.
What, the hammer?
The hammers.
Yeah, they are. They're
for
fucking
externals and looking cool, this one, obviously. But
Yeah.
I prefer the optic on this one. I like that drop down. It's like a half a cross, isn't it, with an 8, 6 and 4 on it. And I like it's a little bit easier on the eye for the red dot as well.
Interesting thing with that hammer,
Yeah.
they take a slating in the real still world.
Really?
Yeah,
They look
people just
cool.
don't like them. I think they look.
I think that looks cooler on my gun personally, but
Yeah.
I prefer the optics. If I was going to use it for coolness, then that one. And if I was out in the field playing airsoft, I'd use that one.
You didn't like the EOTech setup, which was a bit more SEAL team.
It's cool, it looks cool, but I just don't like the idea of being like this. I like to be just like that on gun. That's just me personally, but this is also quite nice.
That's the one I'd go for.
And
Just
that's-
because of the eye relief.
And that's probably, well, it is because the clones I bought with their magnifiers. So that EOTech over there is a clone, came with that magnifier. And obviously my UH1 clone came with its magnifier as well. Both were around £100. And probably, well, I bought that second hand, so that was only 50.
That's cool.
But this,
I know I need to
this
offer
was
them.
brand new off of
25.
Amazon.
25.
This was brand new off of Amazon, and that was only £70, and that's got a really nice eye relief on it.
Is that
for
what you
70.
paid 50 quid for?
Yeah.
That's
It would be,
fucking cheap for one of those.
Yeah,
Have you seen how much they are
second-
online? Have you looked online for those?
I haven't, no.
They're not easy to get hold of, and I think
Got one and I don't
they
need
were
another
listed
one.
on retail at £300. Even the clones, or I'd say clone, it's its own thing. £300 new, second hand if you can find them about 200 quid.
Wow, so I did get a bargain.
Yeah.
Almost like your EBR. Well, no, your EBR's a better bargain than that, isn't it?
My one of those I got when I bought all the Rob's stuff off of him. So
You got yours for a bargain as well?
currently, my one of these currently cost me about minus 200 quid, I think.
Wow.
So the bigger bargain.
Even better bargain.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I say, I think what we're trying to prove in this topic is that, look, there's something from 70 or 50 quid second hand, 70 quid brand new, all the way up to £500. And to be quite honest, you're hard pushed to tell the difference.
No, they're very good nowadays.
And clones, you know, aside from the fact that the 500 quid optic has a lifetime warranty,
Yeah.
but
What about the listeners? It's like that'd be cool if they comment in. What do they prefer using?
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
ones did you like out of
yeah.
these optics that we had on display? What do you prefer to use in the field? And do you agree with Paul about the replica and how good they are close? Would you go out and spend that much money on a site, or would you just go for a?
That is a really good thing to ask them, to be fair.
I think so. What do you guys think? Would you prefer a replica, or would you like the real
spend
stick?
500 quid on something
I mean, again, it's just
that
the
doesn't
same thing,
sight
isn't
in
it?
properly because your gun will be here.
Yeah. I run this style, 5.56 with the zoom lens, and I just have my zoom to the side because it's fucking stupid. It doesn't work properly. I only ever do it, and I'm like, if I'm just bored and I just want to look down the sight, and I'm just going, oh, who's down there then?
Who is that?
And then I've got my Crossfire 2 Vortex, only because I want that in a competition. I probably wouldn't have gone out my way to buy one,
No.
to be honest. It was just.
Do you want to know my controversial take?
Go on.
Go
I
on.
would absolutely pair something like this for 70 quid with, and I know it's controversial because everyone thinks it's utter dog shit to do in airsoft, but I would have a John Wick style 45-degree camper sight to run when you're close range.
I like that though.
And then you've got the zoom, and then you just tilt
Yeah.
it slightly. But everyone slates me for it because I've mentioned it loads of times before.
It's
and they go,
practical,
"Oh,
isn't
you
it?
can't shoot the gun sideways because
Well, see, the thing is, if you were using that in outdoor and CQB, if you were to go into tier 1, wind your hop all the way off, so that when you turn your gun, the BB's still just going to shoot straight because there's no hop applied to it. Technically, I would say there's probably some truck that if you actually set that up, it could work at close quarters.
I did a test video, which you can go and find on my YouTube channel. I did a test video with my old Cyma AK.
What's your YouTube channel called?
Pew Pew Paladin.
Thank you.
So I did a test video where I took my Cyma AK, completely bog standard, out to my Mrs. Equestrian site. And I fired it off and fired it at different ranges, and I found
I was
that
say
if you're
horses there.
casually
firing off at
I found that I could obviously fire it long range, and I had the hop set up, and it was like 45 metres, 50 metres away. The hop was dialed in fine, and I could still, without making any adjustment to the hop, you could still accurately hit a less than body size target, so a narrow target. You could still hit that at 20 metres, absolutely dead on, with the whole gun counted at 45, because the hop up wasn't, the spin wasn't taking effect.
No,
that
because
quick.
the BBs do fly straight. Even on the side, the BB will fly straight for a certain set period of time before
Until
that,
the airflow takes
centrifugal
over.
force pulls it over.
So I would argue you could absolutely, if you're transitioning between indoors and outdoors,
Yes.
you're out at a site and you go into a building, you can canter the gun, and when you're indoors clearing a room, it's not going to be a problem.
And actually, at that distance, the sight, I would probably concede that the sight may be of some use.
I think it's a perfect site for barmans, if I'm honest, because you get that long distance engagement, and then as you know,
Down into
people
the
might
wood.
sneak out of the trails or the wooded bit, and then you can just quickly go pop, and then cool, get back to your long range shooting, you know?
Yeah, and you can pick up, like I say, you can pick up that for £70 on Amazon, and a little tiny, I'm going to call it a reflex because I play too much COD, but a little tiny red dot thing, canted sight, is going to set you back 15 on Amazon or something like that, because it's not going to need to be, it's not going to need to be accurate at that range. It's not going to need to be.
Shit, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I picked up my 45-degree canted mount and the fake Trigicon sight that's on the top of it for like 30 quid. It was second hand, but 30 quid.
Yeah.
AliExpress, all send. Let's go.
Size reflex on his combat machine was like 9 quid off eBay, just a small, similar style to that, like it's basically that there for like 9 quid, and I bought one as well, and they're quite handy just for CQB, especially when you know you're going to get breakages and people shooting out lenses. It's not like, cool, I know Vortex do lifetime warranty or whatever, but it's a bit shit in it when you go there and all your kit, going for a good night, and it's like, I don't know.
I'll be honest, if I had 500 quid to burn and nothing better to spend it on, I would buy a genuine Vortex UH1. Just because I just would. But
You want much?
no, I probably would do that. But that is, I don't know, maybe more from me coming from real steel, and I do a lot of that.
Yeah,
so
it's transversal.
I would
Would you
probably.
swap an M14 EBR and the tech work on my 417 for a UH1?
Oh, dearie me.
That is a fucking good offer. That is.
It's not a bad offer, to be fair.
Oh, he's
But I'm gonna.
The hat's going back.
We try to cocaine like get home and it'll text
Do it.
like,
The question is,
There is a question.
do I be honest and say that actually a big chunk of the 417 repair has been paid for already, and remind him of that?
Yeah, but I'd still have to pay for that MOSFET, which is, I don't know, 150 quid or whatever, and then whatever you charge for an EBR.
This is some good barter. What's this going to be called?
It's a storyboard.
Is that the episode?
Airsoft and chill.
I'll bring you the old next week.
Oh, I think I've already hooked him.
Yeah.
I think I've already hooked him.
Whoa, boys!
We're gonna love on what else have you got for the magnifier that goes with it?
Just think how good that's going to look on an investment when you order one. And then I order my fake one when I get home.
Yeah, but no, I'm thinking. I think that no. After seeing
Why
that
would
on
you want another one? You've already got one.
Oh, yeah, but I haven't got one in black.
So yeah, to sum up the optics, I think we're safe in our assumption that don't bother spending
Go replica.
all that money.
Yeah.
Get a really good replica, because the replicas now are really difficult to tell apart.
And you've got. The other thing is, it's not overly offensive. If that then gets shot out, and you then don't have to worry about, because obviously ear tech, if you bought a legit one, then you'd have to go, oh, I've now got to buy a new one really. Whereas an AliExpress, if that gets shot, I mean,
Look, I
30
had
quid or whatever it is.
I had a real EOTech 300 blackout edition.
Yeah,
And
I
I
remember.
never once took it out on site because I was afraid it was going to get shot
Exactly.
out. And unlike the Vortex, I wouldn't have been able to replace it.
Exactly,
And it
that's
just
the
became a
thing.
linchpin of, that looks
Can I
nice
ask
on the
another
wall.
question?
Yo-yo.
Is that better?
Yeah, yo-yo. I was trying to be hip. Kids.
You
Yeah.
What's your beef, bro?
Do you?
Hit me.
This
No.
this is for viewers and for us.
Mm.
Do you and listeners, viewers and listeners, and Si at home, Matt in the ward or whatever? Do you always use your sights? Because a lot of the time I use my sight for an external looking, so it looks cool, but I do a lot this time is just hone it in off eye, and I mean there's not a lot of time I spend doing this, you know, at people. I'm normally like that. Sometimes I might do it if I've got a scope like that, but
So
how many people actually use their scopes properly?
Rex, take this one.
the only thing I personally use the sights for, and you'll notice that I've either got a powered optic in some way,
Yeah.
or I run a red dot with a magnifier,
Yeah.
is because I like to be able to see further away occasionally. Not to shoot further away,
To see what's coming.
but just to see
That's
who's where.
Why
and
I cant mine to the side and then have it look through, because if I'm looking through that, it never lines up properly.
Absolutely, you'll get the
Aesthetics.
occasional shot. Obviously, I use the optic on the sniper when you're bedded down somewhere, but like in CQB, never. Not a chance.
I only look down if my irons are up, and I find I always put my irons up on my Mark 18, and I don't actually turn my sight on.
What about
Shoot
you?
and hit.
The only time I've ever used and probably dialed in a sight on an airsoft gun was when I was doing the attack sense thing.
You never use your sight that tip at the back of the sight like that.
Well, funnily enough, it was the tip when I put it on, and when John ran, he brought out the attack sense one day and put it out on the range, and I dialed the sight in, and it was perfect for that because you can
One of
just
your
sit there.
phones is pinging.
Mine's on aeroplane, so it can't be me.
I have.
AIDS.
Someone was pinging. We were getting it. Sorry, listeners. That will have to be cut. That
Wasn't me.
there was a small section there where it was suddenly something was pinging.
What you should do, you should cut the bit where it's pinging out and then leave, sorry listeners, that has to be cut. And then like, what the fuck, what's been cut?
Yeah, what have we missed?
Yeah, I mean the only time I've ever actually used one of those sights was I think it was like 6 meters away, and it was good to dial it in because it is quicker for the target acquisition doing that.
Yeah.
But we've said this before, I've never used a sight on an airsoft gun for anything more than judging roughly where my BB's going at range.
I just find it fucking annoying trying to dial it in.
It's just, the thing is you dial it in for 20 yards and it's out everywhere else. You dial it in for 40 yards and it's out.
Yeah. This is why I can't be asked putting this Vortex scope back on, because I can't.
And no matter how good or how consistent the gun is, like once you get past 30 meters, I've found there's no gun in the world that hits the same spot. Or even you have an MOA of I don't know, the span of your hand once you get far enough. No matter how well the gun's been tuned, no matter how consistently it fires its FPS off and all the rest of it, you will have that variance with the wind, with anything. The BBs might be slightly under manufactured or whatever. Dialing the sight in for me is utterly pointless. Even with a sniper rifle, you're never going to hit. Like again, we were talking about that the other week when we talked about the misrepresentation on videos that you see.
Yeah,
online.
fucking.
And they'll put the crosshair, and somehow their BB travels directly down that
True,
crosshair.
yeah.
It's like, that's because you've moved the crosshair.
It's been put in
on-
post-production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives you that sense that they're like
Sales pitch.
Yes. The thing is that when you watch some of those videos, and they haven't done that. They are just using the crosshairs through the scope or through what's already there, and you can see that they're hitting people and they're nowhere near where some of the crosshairs are. They are using that scope just to sort of walk BBs into people rather than.
Yeah.
But going back to, you said you had the Eurotech that you never used to take out. I've got an aim point that I refuse to take out.
For that reason.
Yeah.
That you're worried it's going to get shot out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was a bargain. £11 that was.
Perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone didn't know what they were selling.
No, they did. They were just very, very nice. It was someone that was the regiment, and they got given it.
Elderly woman.
Regiment.
Yeah, they were in the RAF regiment. They got given it. And he got given it by his friend that was in the SAS for when he went on tour in Afghanistan.
History as well.
Yeah, it's seen death. 100% seen
Stared
death.
it in the face.
And then he.
Do you reckon there's like DNA splatter?
What?
And stuff like that.
What, jizz or blood?
No blood, you idiot. Why would there be jizz over it?
Well, they've
What
shot
goes
someone.
on and
They've slaughtered someone.
Teabag.
But yeah, he then was like, I've got this aim point, I don't need it, because he was moving to Isle of Wight and he was getting rid of a load of stuff, and he was like, it's missing like that bit there, the little spring bit, and he was like, if you really want it, you can have it, make me an offer, and I wasn't really paying attention, and I didn't see any of the imprint on it, and I just went, I don't know, it's broke, tenner, and he was like, buy me a knife from my work, and you can have it. That's what I did.
You bought him an 11 quid knife.
Well, there's the knife he wanted. I said,
Okay.
pick any knife there. And then he was just like, I want this one. And then that's how we swapped it. And I refused to take it out.
I think one of the arguments I have heard that stands up for people wanting to put real Vortex stuff on their guns is they don't want, because a lot of people with the reproduction stuff and other stuff put obviously the protectors on, don't they?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that, especially the milsimmers, that have jip with having it on there because it doesn't look realistic. That to me is a fair argument. If someone says I don't want to have one of those stupid things there, I'd rather pay the extra and have a Vortex Spark AR or something like that, because if it gets shot up, I don't care because I'll send it back and have it repaired. That to me, I think is probably a valuable.
They are probably dialing it in though, aren't they? And things like that. And they're probably trying a bit more controlled bursts and things like that.
But I think
to replicate.
It's difficult though, isn't it? Because again, no matter how good your gun is, it's never going to be on that cross. Never. In a million years, consistently on that crosshair.
Matt would probably argue this.
Would he?
I reckon he would.
it's a very short window of distance where if you dial something in it, or with an airsoft gun, where it's actually going to work properly. As soon as you get sort of outside of that, like you say, everything else takes over.
But that arguably that distance isn't long enough to need an optic.
Maybe
that's the variable, isn't it?
you could probably get away with getting something like the Eurotech or the UH1 or something like that, and using it in CQB, where you know that BB is flying dead straight out the barrel, especially at like tier 1, where you haven't really got anywhere where you're shooting over 10 yards, other than sort of down the alley at one side.
Smoker's alley, yeah.
But you could dial that in and use it, but you're better off just point shooting in there.
I think iron sights all the way in CQB personally, in mine anyway, but
Don't
always
know
people
nothing.
always asking me like, what optic do you run, or do I get this reflex sight, or blah blah blah. I'm just like, run iron sights, because are you going to spend this amount of time going like that for someone to pop out of a doorway and plug you?
If
You
some-
spend more time looking down the sight.
Okay, here's an interesting thing. Do you know in Call of Duty when you spec up a gun in Call of Duty, and ultimately your ADS time decreases
Yeah.
when you put optics on it?
Yeah.
Would you agree that's real life? That ultimately being able to pull up some iron sights in front of you in CQB is a lot faster, more reactive, and easier
I think
to
it's
target
lifesaving.
acquisition than it is attempting to peer down an optic.
If you're using that optic correctly, the optic will be infinitely faster than iron sights.
Because it's all about training, isn't it?
Well, the thing with these optics is as well, especially with the hollows and stuff like that, they're designed to be used with both eyes open. You're not squinting one eye and looking down it. If it's set up properly and your parallax is right on it, and when you bring it up into the shoulder and your memory muscles are the same every time, if you keep both eyes open, you can see everything that's going on, and just through vision of one eye, all of a sudden you've got this hologram in front of you. And if your gun is shooting where it's supposed to, and you've mounted that gun perfectly, that's your target acquisition straight away. Whatever that lands on, your gun is shooting at. Whereas with an iron sight, you've still got that bit of balance, and you've got to get it the front and the back lined up. With a hollow, it should just come straight up and bang, you're away.
But I think it's still time though.
But the amount of airsofters that probably don't know how to use a hollow sight properly because they've never shot a gun with one and never done the proper training with one and built the muscle memory, it makes a difference.
And like you say, keeping both eyes open.
Yeah.
The guy that did the SF training at the Tier 1 didn't use optics in CQB because it's like seconds mean death in that situation. If you're outside at medium range, then it's a completely different game. But if you're on a doorway,
if you can't hit the guy 3 foot away from you, there's something really
Yeah.
wrong.
The only time I've used my optic is down Smoker's Alley on my MP7. And that's the only other time, really. I can't think of.
and what happens when
Other than that, I just look over. Sorry.
No, you were talking. Carry on.
No, I'm done now.
No, just what happens if you've done all your kit checks and you've done everything you can possibly do as a soldier, and then for some reason your sight isn't working.
Yeah.
So you get to the doorway and you go, oh fuck, I'm used to this. I'm used to this.
Blind.
I'm used to this. I can't shoot. I'm just
Tell me, Jeebus!
But that's where your muscle.
And it's seen.
That's where your muscle memory would override that anyway, because you know roughly whatever you're looking at. You would know by that point you've drilled that much. You'd know
So
that gun's shooting.
it's back to drill and training.
It's back to drill and training. But let's be honest, you look at a lot of special forces, like you said, they don't use optics. A lot of it is you're shooting at something 4 or 5 feet in front of you at the most. That is point shooting, that is instinctive. They're walking through a door, they've got that muscle memory, they've done all the drills, they know where that gun's going to shoot. They could probably shoot from the fucking hip if they wanted to.
Become like an extension of their own.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
It's just.
The gun comes up, and where they're looking, that gun shoots, because they've done it that many fucking times. You get a feel for it.
Okay. So, summing it up,
Yeah.
listener, buy a cheap optic, not an expensive one.
Unless you want to buy an expensive one.
Unless you want to buy an expensive one, in which case ignore everything we said.
Once again, we've met in the middle.
Middle ground is out again.
We've come to absolutely no conclusion whatsoever. Well done.
Depending on your budget. And if you like